So you've probably seen the buzz online, right? People are typing a few words into an AI like Suno, and bam, a full song pops out. But the big question everyone's fighting about is that really making music? It's this huge, passionate debate that's got longtime musicians on one side and this new wave of AI creators on the other. So let's get into it and try to make sense of the chaos.
All right, let's kick things off with this analogy that's been making the rounds. It's from a musician, someone with 25 years in the game, and it hits the nail on the head for one side of this argument. The idea is that using an AI isn't being a creator, it's being a customer. You're just placing an order. But is it really that black and white? Let's see. So yeah, that's the real question, isn't it? Are these people artists, or are they just customers? One camp says it takes zero skill, that it's basically faking it. The other camp says, hey, this is just the next step, the next tool in the toolbox. We're going to dig into both of these arguments because I think the truth is somewhere in the middle, and it's actually way more interesting.
Okay, so here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll dive into that whole cake debate. Then, we'll see if history has anything to say about new tools in music. After that, we'll look at a really cool idea, music as creative prototyping. We'll also have to talk about the money, the economic reality of all this. And finally, we'll wrap up with what this could all mean for artists going forward.
All right, Section 1, the Great Cake Debate. Let's really get into this argument that making music with AI requires, virtually zero talent or skill.
So the heart of this just ordering argument is really about the difference between giving instructions and, well, doing the actual work. Think about it. Telling an AI, give me a sad folk song, is just not the same as spending years learning guitar, right? Or mastering a complex piece of software. And this isn't just some philosophical coffee shop talk. It has huge real-world consequences. Right now, if something is purely AI-generated, you often can't copyright it. That's a massive problem if you actually want to release your music through official channels.
But of course, that's just one side of the story. Now let's flip the coin and look at the counter-argument, which basically says we have been here before. Many, many times.
Yeah, take a look at this. It's pretty wild when you lay it all out. It feels like every time a new piece of tech comes along that makes it easier to create music, the first reaction is always, that's cheating. It happened with synthesizers in the 70s, not real instruments. Drum machines in the 80s, they're replacing real drummers. DAWs, samplers, even auto-tune, every single one was seen as some kind of crutch. And every single one eventually became a standard, totally essential tool for artists. And this comment from Reddit just sums it up perfectly. People used to look down on software like Fruity Loops, and now you have Grammy winners who use it. It's this recurring cycle. So the argument here is, why would generative AI be any different? Maybe it's not the end of music. Maybe it's just the next chapter in how we make it. Okay, so we've got the it's not art camp and the it's just a new tool camp. So what gives? Well, this is where we get to what might be the most useful way to think about all this, a kind of synthesis of both ideas. Let's talk about reframing AI's role through the lens of creative prototyping. So what is creative prototyping? Well, think about how a software developer builds a quick, rough version of an app to test an idea, or how a designer makes a bunch of sketches before settling on a final design. That's prototyping. And a lot of creators are starting to see AI music tools in the exact same way. It's not a magic button that spits out a finished masterpiece. It's an engine for generating rough drafts, for testing out concepts, and exploring different directions super, super fast. And I love this quote here, AI music as an imagination machine. That's perfect. It's not about the AI doing the work for you, it's about it working with you. It's a way to brainstorm, to get over that dreaded writer's block. You can test out a melody, a chord progression, a whole vibe in seconds. Something that might have taken you hours or even days to figure out on your own. So what does this actually look like? Well, here's a typical workflow. It starts with a human. You write the lyrics, you have the concept. Then you go to the AI, your prototyping tool, and you generate a bunch of musical ideas. Step 3 is crucial, curation. You listen to all those versions and you pick the best bits. And finally, you bring those pieces into your own studio setup, your DAW, and you become the producer. You add real instruments, you mix it, you make it your own. See? The AI is like a collaborator that gives you a block of marble, but you are still the sculptor who carves it into a work of art. It's way more than just ordering a cake.
Okay, but we can't just talk about the philosophy and the creative process. We have to get real for a minute. Because beyond all the debates, there are real-world dollars and cents stakes here for working musicians.
Yeah, look at that number.
a predicted 25% income loss for people in the music sector by 2028. That's according to a global economic study. We're talking about a quarter of someone's livelihood just gone in the next 4 years. That is a massive, massive figure. And it shows you just how disruptive this technology is going to be.
And this chart really breaks down where the money is going. You see, these AI models are trained on mountains of music made by human artists. That's the input value. But the projected financial gains, we're talking billions of euros, are flowing almost entirely to the big tech companies that develop the AI. Meanwhile, the creators whose work was the foundation for all of it, they're facing a projected loss. It's a huge transfer of wealth, and it's a huge problem. This is exactly why you're hearing from people like Bjorn Ulvaeus from ABBA. I mean, a true music legend. He's saying, look, this tech has amazing potential, but if we don't get some smart regulations in place, rules that protect creators and make sure they get paid fairly, then this tool that's supposed to be so great for creativity could actually end up destroying the careers of the people who create.
Okay, so let's circle back. If AI is this new prototyping tool, this new kind of instrument, what does that mean for the skills an artist needs to have in this new world?
The skills that matter most might be changing. It's not just about being a virtuoso on the guitar anymore. It's about having that creative vision, that taste. It's about being a great curator, sifting through hundreds of AI-generated ideas to find that one golden nugget. It's about storytelling and lyricism, the human stuff that AI still really struggles with. And yeah, there's even a new technical skill, prompt engineering, basically learning how to play the AI. And maybe most importantly, it's about being a master editor, blending all these different elements together into something that is truly yours.
And that really brings us to the big final question. In a world where anyone can generate an infinite number of good ideas, an endless stream of prototypes, where does the real art live? Maybe the true genius isn't in coming up with the initial idea anymore. Maybe it's in the masterful human choices, the taste, the vision, the everything it takes to turn one of those millions of prototypes into a single, unforgettable masterpiece. What do you think?